Good morning. It's Wednesday midweek. Paul's in Moscow. No, not Russia. I'm back in Nashville. We're talking about hurricane season, EV surprises, and robots building cars.
Not the robots you think, though. Different robots.
Not the ones like we've been having build cars for a hot minute, like humanoid, crazy-looking things. We'll get to that.
New humanoid robots.
Yeah,
new ones.
Other ones.
I don't know why all of a sudden I can hear myself through my phone.
I don't know.
I don't know. Look, this road setup has been a thing. Yesterday,
welcome to the road.
It was so frustrating yesterday because I was in like the world's nicest airport lounge. I was in the Centurion Lounge. I was so excited about it at Atlanta Airport. And
the new one in E11.
It's unbelievable. It has a separate bourbon lounge in the airport lounge.
It's so silly.
And like the stinking internet kept cutting my StreamYard feed. So I don't know. I think we need to take this right to the top.
Take it right to the top. Go
this
right
to it. This is an outrage.
This is an outrage. Someone at Cox Automotive knows someone at Delta that can get us a.
I think Steve Greenfield can get this done for us.
Yeah, right. A couple million miles.
I think he's our guy. There's a lot going on around. We are releasing a new Auto Collabs episode. And this was a fun one because we met with Abby Veeder and Kathy Munoz of Ford University. And they kind of showed us, they gave us a preview before the episode. So we got a behind the scenes look at the all new Ford training program, like the digital online training. And let me tell you, they're thinking of things next level without a doubt.
Yeah. What I would love to hear, I got some feedback actually yesterday on LinkedIn. We might share at some point about this, but I'd love to, if there are Ford dealers out there that are starting to kind of have their employees in this Ford University and kind of like the beta phase that it is right now. We'd love to get some feedback. Like, how's it going? What's it feel like? How do your employees enjoy it? Is it something that you feel like is going to be long lasting? So listen to the episode, Auto Collabs, and then hit us up at crew@asotu.com or send us a LinkedIn DM and let us know what you think about the whole university, because we'd love to get that real-time feedback.
When they're throwing the words around like story-based cinematic training, I was interested. Let's just say that.
Very, very much. Yep. Let's get into it today. Let's go.
Right. Oh, see, I just messed up my whole thing. Here we go. All right. Talking about some news today. This is so very, very relevant. Actually, near my house yesterday. I wasn't there, but like about 50 miles away, a storm rocked through one of the towns, toppled a steeple on a church, flipped some cars over. So weather's getting crazy, and dealers on the coast, so coastal auto dealers, are facing skyrocketing insurance costs, which have nearly doubled now due to the higher frequency of storms, the severity of storms. Wind coverage charges have tripled in some areas, from Miami to Galveston, Texas. Troy Duhon, we've had him on before, friend of ASOTU, owner of Premier Automotive in New Orleans, he's like, I'm going to form my own insurance company, Prestige Insurance, to provide wind and hail damage for his dealerships. He also did some things like installing generators at all of his stores. Chris Poulos, owner of West Point Lincoln in Houston, focuses on securing lot items, relocating vehicles to protected areas, but he knows high deductibles often even limit how much insurance can even help. He says, quote, in incidents similar to Beryl, insurance, unless you sustain significant damage with significant flooding, it's not really going to help you offset any of the costs involved in getting back up and running. Another dealer, Tom and Anita Castriota, owners of Castriota Chevy in Houston and Florida, Hudson, Florida. Yeah, I'm reading the thing. They're able to move hundreds of vehicles. They move these vehicles to a 10-acre site of high ground behind the store, and they've installed windows that can withstand up to 140 mile an hour winds.
Goodness.
Dude, this is a real thing. I wonder if they're bulletproof too. But Ted Smith, president of Florida Auto Dealer Association, said this time of year, pushing out information to help dealers minimize risk becomes a huge focus, saying, quote, standard operating procedure in Florida is to be ready to take every storm very seriously, and most importantly, protect lives, but protect the inventory as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting if you've never lived or worked in the auto industry in a place where there's severe threats often. It's kind of weird to think about this. It's anybody that kind of sits in the middle of the US, except for if heavy tornadoes, although you can't really do anything about that, don't really recognize the things that like Minneapolis, Minnesota has to go to in snowstorm
Yeah.
preparation, or what Florida has to go through in just prepping for hurricane season. Like, do we have everything ready? Do we have these secondary lots? Do we have these garages that we can put things in to make sure that these multi-million-dollar inventories are safe? It's a whole nother ball game, and planning now is extremely important. There's a lot of dealers that have been doing this for years, but there are some new dealers out there, some new acquisitions, different people getting in management. It's just great to be aware of it, because you hit August and things can start rolling in pretty quickly. So.
Absolutely. It's when we're talking about storms of this nature, they're coming through, seems more and more furiously than ever, but snow is not that bad all of a sudden. I mean, I've known this anyway. Okay, we got snow.
Shovel some snow, right?
It moves. You can move it out of the way. You can
Unless
truck
it's like
it out of the
8
way.
feet buffalo type snow, it's really just kind of.
I would still take 8 feet of buffalo snow over a hurricane that destroys everything, because like you can just wait it out, right? You can move it off property. You can wait it out. But I mean, the rest of the year is really nice in those areas. So.
That's very true.
Speaking of things that are very true, do we got a segue? Stop. Oh yeah, we had to wait for it. For the first time ever, an EV topped the monthly bestseller list for Manheim Auto Auctions in June. The 2023 Tesla Model 3 was Manheim's #1 seller.
Wow.
So and that's not #1 selling EV. That's the #1 selling vehicle at the auctions. Check this out. The Chevy Bolt also made the list. Here are the top five. Model Y, 2023 Model Y, or I'm sorry, 2021 Model Y, 2023 Model 3, 2021 Model 3, the 23 Chevy Bolt, and then at the end it says 2021 Model 3 is the last one. Maybe it's a different trim, but check that out. Top 5 EVs. However, the top 5 vehicles overall at the auction, #1 was Tesla, #3 was the Chevy Bolt. It reflects the growing presence of EVs in the wholesale market. Manheim saw over 21,000 EV sales in Q2, marking, get this, a 108% increase year over year.
Wow.
For the quarter. The year as a whole, like the first half of the year, is up 97%. Over half of those are Teslas. And here's a quote from Jeremy Robb from Cox Automotive. He says, electrics are a 2.1% share of Manheim sales overall, which is up from only 1% a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a market shift. I think that the dynamic here is obviously there's just more of these, as far as throughput, right? So you start to recognize that that's just different. But this is an opportunity, in my opinion, because my guess is that the reason for a lot of these going through the Manheim auto auction is because dealers maybe don't know what to do with them. Maybe they sit on ground because the advertising persona or the knowledge gap in the showroom is still there. So I would say, like, if you're wholesaling a bunch of EVs, know that there's a market out there on the retail market for this, and acquiring that market share is theirs for the taking. Don't ship these things to the auction, retail these cars, know the inventory, understand the sales process, understand how to market these vehicles in your area. It's a whole other subset of opportunity. And they're super loyal buyers, so you can get these people back for that second buy. My watch out is, hey, don't be just shipping these to the auction because you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ways to do it. There's plenty of dealers who are willing to help. Our friends like John Foley, Jimmy Douglas. Another thing who's crossing my mind now that we're talking about this, these are just the Manheim numbers. And there have been a number of other EV marketplaces that have popped up where people are wholesaling EVs. So it's at Manheim, but like platforms like Jimmy Douglas's Plug only does EVs, and they're moving wholesale EVs all across the country. So, they're just used EVs are hot, the tax incentive. And we were driving from Spokane, Washington to Moscow, Idaho, because that's how you do the pilgrimage out here.
That's great. Yeah.
And as I was driving through the rolling hills of, Washington, across the border of Idaho, across the rolling fields of grain, literally. And I didn't have cell phone service. I was like,
Oh,
hey, no EVs out here.
not a single one. Not a single one.
No, I know. But what?
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think you're right on the money, though. As we've seen dealers lean into selling used EVs, especially with the tax credit, I haven't heard a single one regret it. Have you?
No, not a single one. They're all profitable, and they have a great customer base forming in that. And
it's brought a, no pun intended, it's brought like a type of energy to the store as well. I think like people get excited about a new product that's really buzzy in culture. No pun intended again.
Beaver Toyota. I was there. I was at Beaver Toyota yesterday. They have a Cybertruck sitting on the showroom floor. You would not I could have made a full-on goofy vlog show about how many people took selfies in front of that thing in a 4-hour period. It was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
oh man,
the buzz is there.
It's you didn't get to drive it though, did you?
No, I didn't. No, they don't let anyone in it.
Yeah, I can understand why. I can understand why. All right, let's bring her home.
Let's bring it home. Robotics startup Figure released a video last week showing its O1 humanoid robot performing tasks at a BMW car plant. The O1 robot demonstrated moving multiple components onto a jig with placement tolerances claimed to be less than a centimeter, showcasing its potential to handle repetitive low task skills. Look at that thing. If you're watching the video, you can see this thing just dropping a panel in right there. It uses neural networks to learn tasks and can work in human design spaces without requiring costly factory redesigns. BMW and Mercedes have both signed agreements with robotic startups to explore these innovations, while Tesla is developing its own humanoid robot, Optimus. So Figure was founded by a gentleman named Brett Adcock, an Illinois-born entrepreneur born into a third-generation. My computer just went nuts.
Agricultural business.
Wow, that went crazy. An agricultural business, and has now built several tech companies, including Vetery, an online talent marketplace, which was sold for $110 million. Archer Aviation, an eVTOL company who was taken public on the New York Stock Exchange, and has a $1.5 billion contract with United Airlines. So he's no slouch, is what we're trying to say.
I feel like he's our kind of people, and if we can get to him, that would be really great to talk with him. But you think of this, look at this combination. eVTOL, so he's building these, vertical takeoff landing aircraft. He's building humanoid robots that are in manufacturing facilities, putting together vehicle parts. And he also cared enough to start a, talent platform, because it, it came from a farm. Like start putting all the pieces together and you realize there is this desire to help both the labor force as well as repetitive tasks, repetitive jobs, as well as overriding technology on this. Guy,
it's a multi-pronged approach, right? Yeah, it's not just everything automation. There's the human element, the automation element. How do we take repetitive tasks, offload them to robotics or to alternative intelligence? It's this multi-pronged approach, and I love that. It's leveraging tech and people to do the jobs that they're best at.
I have one question.
Away we go.
Will the robots be able to vote in the UAW election?
Yeah. With that, I think we should get out of here. Oh man, we had a lot to do. Hey, the reason we do this every day is to share with you the things that you can be thinking about to serve customers better. You can serve customers well with all that information at hand. Go do it.